There we go. Patch removed stutter buildup, but it still chugs sometimes. I never had that. Well, at least I don't think I had that problem. The stuttering stuff. But I'm not sure. It did say they were still looking into performance issues and whatever. If you didn't see it earlier, it was posted on Twitter, and I think I retweeted it. I don't remember. Twitter's dumb. Anyway,
let's head to Astera.
Let's not. I'm talking here, handler. I did the Vinesauce Secret Santa thing again this year. If you remember it, I did it last year. Norix was my gift giver, and he gave me that weird ass fucking alien game. What was it called? Dr. Kronk or something like that? Dr. Kvorak's nut machine or something. And let me do the trick real quick. Quit without saving. No, look at that big FPS meter. All right. And this year, my gift giver was Freya Fenris, who's a mod for Joel, and I think also for Gearamatic and maybe someone else. They worked on the Vinesauce's Hope thing last year, and I think the year before that too. They opened it up a little bit more. The Secret Santa thing's kind of hard to organize because like everyone's doing different shit during the holidays, and everyone's kind of busy, and getting everyone in one place at one time is kind of hard to do. But the games that I got were P-Space. The games that I got, the good games, so we do usually one good game and one bad game, although you could do more if you really want to. The good game I got was Sid Meier's Pirates, the remake in like the mid-2000s, which I've never played before. I played the original like DOS and Windows versions. And then the bad game that I got was Addams Family for the NES, which I've never played. I've played Fester's Quest, which is a bad Addams Family game. But I've never played Addams Family. So, I have to stream an hour. Well, I don't have to. I could just say fuck it, but that would be rude. I'm gonna stream at least an hour of both of those, probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. But today, right now, I want to make some Monster Hunter progress so that I can do more stuff in Monster Hunter off stream. And I gave my Secret Santa gift person who I gifted was Dead Jetworks on Twitch, who was an artist for the charity stream, and I think she's a mod for someone too. I don't know. I don't remember anything. Oh, we got talking.
Yes, sir. The chief asked us to come see if we could help.
I'm thankful. You're just the help that we needed. It wasn't long after you left that we started getting reports of the song being heard all around the New World. Soon after that, previously undiscovered subspecies appeared, and wasted no time before starting to run amok.
Commander, I have strong reason to believe that the song is what caused the Legiana to fly across the hinterlands. And if monsters start leaving their natural habitats, it's only natural that there are other consequences for the ecosystem. I think this is all tied back to what was written on the cloth. Song and impact on the ecosystem.
Ah, yes. I've been told what was written on that cloth. It seems very likely that the Puke Puke and Paolumu subspecies were a precursor to our current troubles as well.
At any rate, I'll be sure to take meticulous notes about where all these monsters have started to become active.
Right. I'll remember. I'm counting on you to help repair Celiana's defenses. Good luck.
So I guess we got knowledge from the cloth.
subspecies. Are they picking up on some kind of change in the environment? Nothing can stop us.
I have to do investigations, I guess, it says. Anyway, so the games I got for them were, their good game was Factorio. Because Factorio is a good game. I actually, as soon as I bought it, I was watching, it's actually been updated a lot since the last time I played it. So I might stream it at some point. Factorio's might be a hard game for me to stream though, because that's the kind of game I like to play and zone out and play for like 12 hours straight. So if I stream it, I'm gonna end up, I think I have streamed it once, maybe. I don't fucking remember. Factorio is very good though. But since it has been so long since I played it, I wouldn't mind revisiting it in the near future. And then the bad game I got them was Rolo to the Rescue, which is a Genesis game that I had as a kid. Where you're an elephant and you gotta save your animal friends from the circus.
Let's go.
It's kind of got some Donkey Kong Country-ish gameplay aspects to it. Except the levels aren't as linear. They're more like you have to explore and find secrets kind of thing. Oh yeah, I should do the thing, huh? Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Let's copy session ID in case people want to join. Let me put that there in the chat. There you go. Capital M B capital M JW plus V3 question mark 7 CU. Easy to remember. Just get in there. So yeah, it was cool. I like doing the Secret Santa thing. Just because it's fun to get random games. Although, if you remember, Norix was my Secret Santa last year. That Donald Duck game. Holy fuck, was that game hard. Alright, assigned. So either Acidic Glavenus or Ebony Odogarin. Let's do, I guess, the Glavenus first, right? Sure, why not? I'm guessing, yeah, I have to do a cutscene first. Let's do that. Is there anything I'm missing here that I need? I didn't see, what zone am I going to for this? Was it Elder's Recess? Oh, I have cool drink anyways, it's fine. Yeah, whatever, we're good. What bug do I have equipped? I have the healing bug equipped. That's probably a good idea. Healing bug is easy. Slow easy mode. Sleazy mode, if you will.
I'm beginning a record of the monsters riled up by that song.
So I hope you guys are doing well. Having a good weekend so far. I really haven't had a chance to do much yet. Why am I pressing X? Alright, we gotta sniff the goo. You know the drill. Sniff the goo. Smell the feet. Find the monster and repeat. Look at that. Spoonie has joined. I don't know who's Spoonie. I saw Com joined. That's you, Zada. Okay, cool. go ahead and fall down. I do kind of wish in Iceborne, maybe I haven't played enough yet or whatever, but I do sort of wish... What the fuck? I do, so what item am I supposed to use to not get the fucking death rot shit? Do I have something for that? I do kind of wish they had done a little bit more to innovate, I guess, on the standard quests that you do. I mean, it's still pretty much the same thing as you did in World. It's go to the place, find the thing, do the stuff. Look at the footprints. I guess that's not that bad. Yeah, I guess there's like the grab eggs quest. I never even fucking do those because they're annoying as shit. Some of them have good rewards, right? I just fucking kicked my cat. Let's get stones. All right, here we go. Cutscene time. Nothing. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. So this Glavenus here be looking a whole lot like the other one, but less glowy and more drippy. He's just going fucking mental. Slice. Oh, look at that goo come out.
We have to get
All
our
right,
defenses
well,
together
here we
before
go.
Belkana's breath reaches Celiana.
Oh, Nefarious is here. There we go. Instant mount. Beautiful. Oh my god. So I mean, I know I'm being dumb here, but what am I supposed to do again to not take the fucking rot damage? Is there an item I use? Like a drink? Or do I just deal with it? What the fuck are you lizards doing here? Are you serious? Thank you, cat. Okay, looks like he's got armor on his tail. Uh-oh. Alright, Comrade has arrived. I like how that heal didn't heal me at all. Ouchie. Oh, yeah. Right in the head. Oh, we got Spoonie's another insect glaive user. We got the glavers in the house. No, don't go near me. You bother the other people. Oh! Oh, shit. Oh wait, I need my fucking essences. So in other random video game news, well actually I guess this isn't really news. I reinstalled and I tested, because I've never streamed it, Doom 2016. Because I'm thinking of streaming that before the new Doom comes out. I played it for like 5 or 10 minutes this morning. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll do Nightmare, right? I think it's Nightmare's the one where it's the hardest mode, but you don't have only one fucking life. I think that's Ultra Nightmare or something. And I realized I probably can't stream it on Nightmare, because I literally was like dying in the first room. Not the very first room. It's not like I worked for Polygon. It was like the first arena room. Things like if you get hit with melee, you die in like 2 hits. And I'm not bad at shooters. I mean, if you what is this white emitter? What is this emitting? You know, if you've watched me before, you know I'm not like I'm not bad at FPS games. I'd say, in fact, I'm pretty good at FPS games. But I think if I'm streaming that and trying to talk and I'm like, I already know when I'm playing that game, the music's gonna kick in and I'm gonna be like, while I'm like blowing up fucking demons and stuff like that. So if I put it on really hard, I'm not even gonna be able to pay attention to what's going on, and I won't be able to go, you know. Although maybe before I play Doom, I should finish some other games that I've left unfinished for some decent amount of time, if you know what I mean. I got until April to finish that game, though. That old chestnut. Ooh. I really need to stream Tome again, too. Because I've been sitting on that character that I started off stream that's like where I was when I left off playing it when I died horribly and embarrassingly on stream. Also, I was playing Splay the Splyer the other night, and I got my wins with both the defect and the silent. And it turns out that even though I have the achievement for the win with the ironclad and stuff, I still need to win with the ironclad to get Act 4. So if I play Slay the Spire again on stream, it'll probably be that. Or maybe I'll just do that off stream and then try and do Watcher and Act 4. Man, I wish I could be consistent with my video games. Oh, is that the tail? Oh, that was the tail. God, imagine a streamer playing video games. What a world. Who's healing right now? What is doing that? Is that like some sort of equipment that someone has or something? Because I don't think that's my bug healing, right? I think Glavenus so far, I mean, again, I know Glavenus isn't necessarily a new monster, right? But I think Glavenus so far is my favorite new and Iceborne monster so far. Oh, look at all this. Look at all these goodies. Tail edge. Oh yeah, good idea. How about that orange essence? There we go. Yeah. How long? I mean, there aren't a ton of people here right now who aren't playing, but I wonder how long the actual Iceborne story is. Because I know I haven't done a ton of it. But I'm not sure how long it actually is before it just kind of is like, okay, that's all the monsters. See you next time. Have fun grinding for your new gear. someone put a trap down? Oh, it's over here. You gonna step in this, bro? There we go. Whee!
Acidic glavnus.
Easy
Successfully hunted.
peasy.
Amazing work.
I can carve a gyros, I guess. Well, that wasn't too bad. I want to know who the fuck and what the fuck was like healing us so much. Was that something Comrade was doing? Healing spam build from you. Aren't you using Insect Glaive? What are you doing? I'm doing Insect Glaive with heal too, right? Or am I thinking of someone else? Am I doing it wrong? Wide range. Ah, wide range. No wonder. Oh, just chugging potions. I see. Potoins. Does wide range affect your Kinsect clouds? Fortitude and physique. That's cool. You heal with powders? Like white powder, like white illegal powders? Look at that. We're all slinger snipers, except for Spoonie. Clouds just heal people in range. Yeah, I mean, that would make more sense.
You're doing great.
Well, all these boxes weren't here before. What's up, pig? You don't have to switch weapons. I mean, we're doing fine. That was not very hard. Yeah, Tigrex set gives 75% chance to not use items. I just want to see the acid glavinus stuff in the shop real quick.
Let's get this done.
4-man hunts are rarely going to be hard. Yeah, I mean, true. Unless someone just keeps wiping their ass. Let's see, armor. Interesting. 11 rarity too, huh? What's the raises the maximum level of maximum might. Interesting. Let's see. No. What is this new? This is kind of new. Aerial Magus. Magus. Imagine saying Magus. Laguna Glaive 2. Sulfurtine Spearin. Alright then. Do you need to see the cutscene first for yourself before join? I think you do, yeah. I'm not sure though. All right, well, nothing too crazy in as far as upgrade. Actually, I did want to see.
This done.
What am I using right now? I'm using the Flaming Tuza. Okay, I still don't know what the next ones are. Are there people here who actually take the time every time they eat to like pick out their ingredients?
Let's go.
I know there's like technically a slight advantage if you take the time to do that. I guess you can use the presets, right? Wow, look at that level of detail grass in the background. All right. Ebony Odo. Coral Highlands, that's nice. Okay, we ate. I know Chef's Choice isn't always optimal. It's just easy, and I always know it's the max HP and stamina usually the first time you use it. But I know it's not always the optimal buffs. All right, look here, we're in the Coral Highlands. I'm gonna smell some feet. I guess just knowing where to go would make this a little quicker, but whatever. I don't think it's this way, though. Oh, those scooping sounds. Oh, Nargacuga gashes, you say? Oh, look at that. My boy Nargacuga. Am I going up? So if you were there for the Secret Santa stream, afterwards, Imakuni hosted some guy who was like making chicken and potatoes or something. And it got me thinking about how I've wanted to do a cooking stream, but I'll be honest, it's the way I'd be a perfectionist about it, and I feel like it would be nearly impossible for me to do at home. I could do it. I'd have to spend a lot of time. I'd have to buy probably some extra equipment. I'll shut up for a second. Whoa. Yeah, cook teasing. Oh, you just fucking snapped that motherfucker's neck. He's not even gonna eat him. Just gonna toss him. It's okay, so we got Spicy Odo. Okay. Give me 1 second to not die real quick. How about one of them, there we go. White essences. So the thing about cooking stream, for those of you who don't know, which I don't know, might be a couple people. There aren't a lot of people here right now, but, I worked as a chef for a long time, so if I did a cooking stream, it would be the kind of shit that, like, you normally wouldn't be able to make easily at home. Well, I mean, you could make it at home. Obviously, I'd be making it at home, but it wouldn't be, like... It would be more complicated dishes than the kind of thing you would want to make at home. Let's just say that. And the thing about that is first off, I have done a stream a very long time ago, over a year ago now, where I had cameras and it was like an IRL type thing. When I painted some paintings for my mom's birthday. Dude, this guy's fucking going ape shit. What's the blue mean? Does he have like shields? Are his shields up or something? And the thing is I already, well, I mean, that was when I hadn't streamed very much, so some of the technical issues were because of that. But, I had like problems with my cameras. The batteries would die, and my cameras don't really have external power supplies that I can use. For a cooking stream, I'd have to have like multiple cameras set up. I'd have to get different like tripods or mounts so I could mount them properly in my kitchen. I feel kind of weird about streaming inside of my house. So I'd probably end up making like, you know, really restricting what you see on camera. I also don't really want to do like face cam or anything, so you'd mostly be seeing like my hands and what I'm cooking and shit like that. But the other thing is I feel like, I mean, it's doable live, but it feels like it would make a lot more sense for a pre-recorded kind of video. But I also don't do pre-recorded videos. I don't want to fucking film shit and edit shit. But I don't know, maybe one day. I'm considering it. I'm thinking about like what all the stuff I'd have to do. And I am a little bit rusty when it comes to my cooking. There's also a lot of things that like I'm used to having in a restaurant that I don't have at home, equipment-wise, that I'd want to have. So I might end up... Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, you'd see my tiny little weird hands. I have small hands. Small hand streamer. Also, what's up, Jerb? I was talking about earlier, Tome, I have a save just like sitting and waiting with a new character that I started off stream. That's like where I left off pretty much when I died before. And I gotta play that again. Oh yeah, right in the head. Yeah, I'd want to keep it on Twitch. I mean, Twitch is where I have followers and where I like YouTube. My YouTube channel is basically just to back up my streams for, you know, whatever potential reason. I don't expect many people ever to watch my shit on YouTube. Yeah, I've seen the Chef John guy before. I've seen Binging with Batter. See, like they're good, they're okay. It's different than what I'd probably end up doing. I don't know what I'd end up doing. Maybe I gotta watch some other like food streamers or YouTubers and like, you know, carve out my niche. Plus, I also kind of wonder how interested people would even be in like food that you'd never cook at home. I guess that at that point you're watching more for the cooking chef aspect than like the, oh, I'm gonna learn how to make a recipe or something. I mean, I'd still provide valuable cooking tips. Just not really valuable recipes. I don't even really use recipes to begin with. I haven't used recipes in a fucking long ass time. I only use recipes for like baking and pastry stuff because that is chemistry. You need to use a recipe for most of that. Cooking, on the other hand, is a lot more flexible. Will I teach you how to make lamb sauce? Yeah, I can. Lamb sauce is kind of boring, though. Traditional French sauces are a little, Fucking lamb sauce. I was watching, you know what I'd actually love to stream? I probably can't stream it on Twitch. Maybe I need to set up an Angel Thump page like Vinny has for Scum. I have an Angel Thump account. I just don't have a page that integrates the chat and stuff. But there's this Gordon Ramsay documentary. I've talked about it once already on stream, I think. That was from 1999, and it was basically... So, some people know Gordon Ramsay's history, but before he was famous for, like, swearing a lot on TV, he was famous for being a really good chef of a 2 Michelin star restaurant at a fairly young age. And this documentary was kind of his first, like, major, like, public TV exposure. And I think really kind of what catapulted his, like, mainstream appeal. It's interesting because he talks during it and he's like, I'm not a celebrity chef. I don't want to be a celebrity chef. Like, that's fucking stupid. I'm a cook. I just want to cook. And then it was like it was about 5 or 6 years. It's basically after he got his 3rd Michelin star at his first restaurant that he started doing a lot of the TV stuff, like Kitchen Nightmares in the UK. Which I love. I love the UK Kitchen Nightmares. It's great. What is this meat here? But it's on YouTube, the whole thing. It's 2 hours long. It's called Boiling Point, Gordon Ramsay. And it basically starts off with him quitting his job at Aubergine, which is this famous 2 Michelin star restaurant in London, and him, when he quit, basically like almost all the staff of Aubergine left with him, because they were pissed because they fired like one of the cooks or something. Like the higher ups fired one of the cooks that like Gordon, who was the head chef at the restaurant, like didn't agree with or whatever. So he basically left and got a bunch of loans and borrowed money and shit like that, and literally opened a place like right down the street from his old job, kind of to spite them. And so it kind of follows the opening of the restaurant and him dealing with critics and dealing with staff and like what services. And I get really nostalgic when I watch shit like that because I worked in a couple 3 Michelin star restaurants and a 1 Michelin star restaurant. So watching it kind of reminds me of some of my experiences. It's also funny to see how different restaurants, because like I was working in places in like from like 2009 to 2018-ish or something like that, 2008 to 2018. It's funny to see kind of in some ways how quaint some of the food that you could get 2 Michelin stars for was in 1999. Because it just seems, some of it seems very simple and basic. But yeah, it's good to watch. And so here's the thing. Gordon Ramsay is not, in person, I have met him before. I cooked for him once at one of the restaurants I worked at. And in person, in general interactions and stuff like that, he's not an asshole. And he swears. But he's a pretty nice guy and he's pretty level-headed. His crazy, like, tirades and being an angry asshole, like, that's what he does in his kitchen, and that's what he does to make sure that the standards are like 3 Michelin star standards. And I've worked in a lot of kitchens where they have that kind of approach where they yell at you. I've also worked and ran very like friendly kitchens that were more laid back. And I think there's an argument for both of them depending on what level of standard you're going for, especially. I don't think it's being abusive. I've seen a lot of people that are like, abusive kitchen chefs are bad and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to be straight up abusive, but really in a kitchen at that caliber, it's like being it's like a military kind of thing. If you're like in, you know, if you're in boot camp or if you're in a squad or like whatever, you know, you listen to what you're fucking told by your superior, because, you know, if you don't do everything right, you die, right? If you fuck up, you die. In a kitchen, if you fuck up, you don't die, but at the highest levels of cooking, if you fuck up, you can't like fix most stuff after you fuck it up. Like some stuff you can kind of fix. Most stuff in a nice restaurant, you wouldn't want to make the attempt to fix it. You just start over from scratch and redo it. But that's one of the reasons I liked cooking so much as a career, and why I love food, is that I've talked about it before, but originally I went to college for computer science and like programming and shit like that.
Okay.
Hold on. Ah! I gotta close the window. Celiana's new defensive arrived safely. That wouldn't have happened if you hadn't come to the rescue. Yeah, my thanks. Final preparations are underway for the Dragon Razor. What a cool name. We'll need that completed if we hope to drive back Velcana. There have already been sightings just outside Celiana's gates. We don't have much time. Let me make this clear. Our mission is now to drive Velcana back and protect Celiana. But if you want to distract or bind Velcana to stall for time until that Dragon Razor is finished, the only things protecting the Dragon Razor and Celiana are you hunters and a barricade. See that the barricade isn't breached. Phase 2 begins once the Dragon Razor is complete. We hit Velcana with it and force it to retreat. Once it's fully built, you'll need to load fuel into the Dragon Razor before it can be fired. Alright, field team, finish any last minute prep, and then accept the quest ASAP. I like how they just say accept the quest. As soon as preparations are complete, everyone in Astera, save a skeleton crew, will be shipping out to Celiana. The stakes couldn't be much higher. Let's make this mission a success. All right.
Preparations are complete, and the burner in my heart's cooking at full blast.
Um.
Let's keep Celiana safe, Pard.
So the thing is like, one of the reasons I love cooking so much is that unlike something like programming, I mean, they're obviously very different things, but there are a lot of jobs where I'd say there's an artisan aspect to it where, you know, your creativity shows through in your work. I'd say even, you know, programming has an artisanal aspect to it. But the thing I really like about cooking is that every time you do it, you have to execute your skills. Just because you learned how to cook a steak and you can cook a steak medium rare perfectly one time doesn't mean that every single steak that you cook from there on out is going to be perfect. You're only as good as your last plate, as good as your last table, as good as your last service when it comes to cooking. And I don't know, there's something that was very satisfying to me about doing that kind of work. And on top of that, after you make your art or whatever on a plate, you send it out and it gets destroyed. Like, it's not like something you can hang up on a wall and admire. And it satisfies people. I don't know, there are a lot of weird things about cooking that I really enjoy. Nefarious is asking, what's the most difficult dish that I know how to make? That's kind of a complicated question. What's the most difficult dish? I'd say inherently most, like I was saying before, most baking and pastry stuff has a little bit more of a difficulty to it, but that's not really cooking, and that's not cooking a dish. And you gotta take into account at most, like when I was working at a 3 Michelin star restaurant, right? I didn't make any dishes. My entire job for the day was to make like maybe 2 or 3 components of a couple of different dishes, and other people had other components that they would work on. And then when people actually came in and the tables were ready, then other people would fire the dishes and use the components or I'd be on the one on like the grill firing the meat or whatever, and I'd be taking components that other people had already made and assembling them on the plate. Very few times, like in high-end restaurants, you usually have a large brigade of people that are making multiple things and multiple components, so that, you know, when you're actually serving, you're just more assembling all of the components that were finished earlier, and then the only things you're cooking at the last minute are the things that you absolutely can't do ahead of time. You know, like you don't want to cook vegetables and then like, well, some vegetables you can just like blanch them and shock them in ice water and then like par cook them, and then during service you throw them into a hot pan to finish them off. But there are other things where once you cook them, they can't be cooled down or they can't be stored for a long period of time or stuff like that. So you have to do it what they in French it's à la minute, which is of the moment, right? Or I think, or of the minute, which means you have to, you know, cook it from nothing then and there, which tends to be certain types of vegetables, pretty much always meat unless you're doing sous vide. And even with sous vide, you still have to like finish a piece of meat, so it's not like you're just like popping it open and throwing it on a plate. But for an example, let me see if I can find a picture of it. Hold on one second. What's my favorite thing to make? I don't really know. I like, from a technical standpoint, I don't really like seafood that much, but I like cooking seafood because from a technical standpoint, it's very delicate. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it just requires a lot more attention and sensitivity to cook a lot of different seafoods properly. I really like cooking eggs. That's another technical thing where eggs, depending on how you treat them, you can do so many different things with them. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, so this is something from a restaurant that I worked at. Let me see, is this a good picture? Let me find a good one. This one's good. It retains the color. Let me save this image. So one of the opening dishes that at a restaurant that I worked at is this way, you know, go in to OBS. Hold on. What do you mean smart sync download? What the fuck? What is my computer doing right now? Yeah, this is a fucking JPEG. Stop making noises. Do I really have to add a fucking... Okay. Un momento. Sorry, if you're in the game playing with me, just do whatever. You can get ahead of me, so you can join my quests. Okay. And it's fucking massive. Let me fit it to the screen. All right, so here's a dish that looks very unassuming. So it's an egg in a little egg holder thing. You cut the top of the egg off. Inside of it is an egg custard with like a black truffle sauce on top of it, and then this thing that's stuck into it is a potato chip Band-Aid. Yeah, we call them Band-Aids too. A potato chip. It's like a tweel, and it has a chive in the middle of it, baked into the middle of it. So one of the things I did, the very first thing I did when I started working at the restaurant was I was on these chive chip duty things. Right, so what you have to do is you have to shave 2 pieces of potato extremely thin, They have to be completely like even and flat. They can't be like thicker at one end and thinner on the other. And then you lay them out really flat on a silicone mat on like a baking sheet. And then you put the chives in the middle, and you have to then properly weight them down and then bake it so that they, if you don't weight them, they'll like curl or change shape or stuff like that. And the thing is that they have to have an even color. They can't be too dark at the at either of the ends. And the chef, my chef would, or one of the sous chefs, if the chive in the middle was too brown, they would throw them away. The chive had to stay green when you did it. Otherwise, so I'd make a whole sheet tray of these, and then then my like sous chef would come by and go through. This was pretty early on, and I wouldn't say early on when I was cooking. I'd been cooking about 3 or 4 years at this point, and I had gone to school for cooking stuff, but I hadn't like run a kitchen or anything yet. That came a lot later. So he'd go through, and I'd make, you know, you could probably fit about I don't know, maybe 20, 30 per sheet tray. And then he'd go around and find all the ones that weren't good enough and just like throw them in the trash. And I'd have to make sure I had enough for service, which depending on the night, it was usually around anywhere from 75 to 100 of them. And then like depending on how you placed the thing in the oven too, like they wouldn't always cook evenly, so you'd have to like turn the tray around in the oven at certain times to make sure that like one side didn't get more brown than others and stuff like that. And so this dish doesn't cost anything. This restaurant, it's called the French Laundry. It's in Napa Valley, and it's I think it was one of the first 3 Michelin star restaurants in California. It's been open a long time, but you don't order individual dishes. Basically, you go there, and they let you pick from 2 or 3 menus, depending on what the season is. And each menu has 8 to 12 courses on it, plus some like little kind of like amuse courses. And you pay a set amount per person. I believe when I was there, it was $250 a person. It might have been $275. I did get to eat there after I worked there too, which was a very cool experience. And yeah, you just eat this thing with a spoon. You basically, you can eat it with the little chive potato chip thing too. But you just eat it with a little spoon. They had a lot of signature dishes. But if you're wondering, like, I can show you what some of the other dishes there would look like. Can I just drag this? What is fucking OBS's deal right now? Why do you fucking do this to me? OBS doesn't want to let me drag shit into it. Let's see. It's weird. They don't actually have very many pictures online of some of the like really classic dishes. No, you can drag shit in. You can drag files in. No problem. But for some reason, it's not letting me right now. Maybe I turned off a setting or something. Let's see. We got why the fuck? We got something like this. Whoops. Whoa. I believe this looks like it's probably a quail dish. Or is this duck? Can't really tell. Looks like quail. Let's see. There was a vegetable dish I saw here. Here's a nice looking beef dish. Here's a fish dish and a dessert. Where's the one I was looking for? Yeah, here's like a nice one of the gardens. So they have an entire one of the menus that's always available. Is a garden menu. So for the French Laundry across the street, basically, well, they have two of them now. They basically have their own massive like garden and farm that is maintained by its own staff. And there's an entire menu that's pretty much all vegetarian, that's focused on whatever is fresh and good from the gardens that specific day. So that menu can change fairly frequently. But yeah, you definitely... So here's the thing. Most restaurants in general that aren't total shit, the simple way of getting prices in a restaurant, say like, you know, I'm putting together a dish, right? And all the ingredients for the dish cost me $4. Let's say it's $4 or something like that. Usually, like, the safe rule for food costing is that you have a 25% food cost. So if it costs you $4 just in ingredients to put together one dish, you'd want to sell that dish for at least $16. Because the rest of that includes, you know, your labor, your cost of equipment, your operating costs, like, you know, electricity, gas, things like that. You know, linen services, if you use them. There's a lot of factors that go into it. That's kind of flexible depending on the style of service and how the restaurant actually works. If you're going over 30%, so if say my if you're going over 30% food cost, your margins are going to be like super thin. An extremely well planned restaurant would be operating at like a 15% food cost. So the cost of like the food, the ingredients, and the food itself. You also have to factor in waste. So if you're a type of restaurant that serves an a la carte menu where people look at the menu and they pick what they want and stuff like that, which is, you know, most restaurants, you have to worry about food waste. If you have something that, you know, maybe is only good in the fridge for 2 or 3 days and you don't sell all of them in 2 or 3 days and you got to throw them out, you're losing money on those dishes. There are also things that you wouldn't necessarily use the 25% cost at, which are kind of like your, in a restaurant, you have both like your big sellers that are low cost that bring a lot of profit, your high margin dishes, and then you also have your kind of lost leader dishes where like maybe your food cost is like 35 or 40% on it, but because they're like fancy or like they bring something special to the menu or something like that, it's worth it to take a little bit of a loss on them. But things like pasta dishes are great for profit. Like, pasta is super cheap and it's very low labor intensive, and you don't have to really worry about waste because either you can make fresh pasta just for the day every day if you want to do fresh, or you can use dried pasta, which, you know, I would probably not use dried pasta very often for my restaurants unless I needed a specific shape, and even then I'd probably buy a specialty version of it. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into the business side of like costing your menu and making sure you actually make money on your business, especially in like the high-end fine dining scene. The ideal thing is you have a restaurant like French Laundry where you're literally booked for like 3 months in advance, and you know exactly how many people you're serving every night and how many of those people have like special menu requests or like allergies and stuff like that. So you never really have food waste because you always have the exact amount. Maybe plus or minus, maybe you have keep an extra couple of portions just in case something gets messed up. But it's a much safer safer way to be able to do it. But it's really hard to have. You have to be a really good chef, and you have to make really good food, and you have to fill those seats. You have to make your restaurant a high demand restaurant, you know. I'll shut up for a second while we play game.
There's our opening. Get moving. Man the cannons.
But yeah, Nefarious mentioned it. Fine dining, I mean, it's definitely... Ooh. Let me shut up.
Impressive.
You guys ready?
Is this fucking like Zora Magdaros all
Cannons
over
ready to
again?
fire. Orders, sir.
Shoot him?
Do it!
Fire! Barricade!
Oh, that's convenient.
Sorry for the delay. Report.
Grandfather, he's...
You are a leader. Buy some time. Show them that you've got what it takes.
We need more time to get the Dragon Razor ready. Protect that barricade with your life. You were the only one who's fought this Velkhana before. We can't fail here.
If you say so.
And you, we need your help with the preparations.
Are you talking to my cat?
ASAP. Got it. Celiana is done for. If we don't drive this thing back, hunters fight hard. And stay smart. We have to protect the barrier.
All right.
Keep
Then.
it busy until the Dragon Razor is ready. Artillery team's in place. Finder ballista's ready to go too. First, we need to wear it down. Once it's reeling, hit it with that finder. Leave it to us.
Assembling the Dragon Razor as quick as we can. Protect that barricade.
All right. So the thing about fine dining, Nefarious kind of mentioned it, is that here's the thing, and this is one of the cool things about food, right? Is like you can get delicious fucking food that is, you know, fresh and nutritious and tastes good from a fucking street cart, you know, or a food truck or like some little mom and pop place. And the thing about the fine dining is, one, yes, you're paying for the food. Like a lot of times fine dining, you'll have like some sort of like really, you know, specialty ingredients, like or things that you are very hard to find or very difficult to cook. The other thing you're paying for is the artistry of the chef, right? You're paying for the ability to taste, you know, a unique take on food, I guess you could say, executed at like the highest level, like something that would be impossible to do in a food truck, using, you know, unique techniques or modern techniques or all different kinds of things. And then the other thing you're getting is the experience too. In like a super fine dining restaurant, you basically get treated like a king. Like they'll do anything for you, and it's like it is kind of like being royalty to eat at a Michelin star restaurant most of the time. Michelin has been more and more accepting of like simpler food the past like 10 years, I'd say. And especially food that isn't French food. For a long time, the Michelin Guide was just like, here's where you can get the best French food for a long time. But they've opened up a lot more and do a lot of different things. But Michelin, like the Michelin ratings include everything from like, you know, the service to the dining room to how your plates are handed to you, how the food is cooked, how it looks on the plate. A lot of people, I think, get the impression when they see a fine dining dish. I see a lot of times people are like, first off, they think that they're paying for how fancy the food looks, which isn't the case at all. Usually how the food looks, unless you're a bad chef, how the food looks, it usually comes like third on the list of importance, maybe second for some chefs. But usually like the flavor, the freshness, and the service are considered way more important than how it looks on the plate. Obviously, you don't want to have messy, sloppy plates. That's kind of like, you know, that's the perfectionist angle of it. Is like you're not going to put something down on the plate that looks like shit or looks sloppy or not well composed. The idea of having it look so fancy is the idea that you want your guests to feel that they're getting something unique and they're getting something that that has had a lot of time and effort put into it, right? And that might be something as simple as, you know, the difference between, you know, putting a whole steak on a plate or a fillet and slicing it and putting it on the plate versus doing like a nice tight roulade where it comes out in like nice round medallions and it looks that much better on the plate because of it. The other thing too is a lot of times people will see a fine dining dish and they see it on its own. Fuck off, mate. Kind of like how I showed. And people don't realize that usually you aren't buying a plate and getting like 2 or 3 bites in these restaurants. You're buying like an entire menu, and that one plate is like one of 8, 10, 15, 12, 20. I've the most courses I've ever had in a dinner was, I think, 22. And that's a little excessive. I mean, I get why this restaurant in particular did an insane menu like that, and they did a good job with it, but also, you know, you can fuck yourself up if you have too many dishes on your menu and you try and do too many things at once. You know, there's a fine balance between doing too much and executing poorly and executing well but not offering enough variety. The other thing too is when you talk about a restaurant that has a set menu like that, usually they're either seasonal or sometimes even like weekly or daily. They're changing menu items based on, you know, what the best produce is and what's available. And the thing is usually there's a on a good menu, there's a flow to the menu. Like one dish transitions into the next one very intentionally, and both in flavor and composition, and sets you up, you know, for the. What the fuck are we doing?
The Dragon Razor's over here.
Do we all have to do this? Why do these guys got miniguns?
Leave slowing it down to the others. You man the Dragon Razor.
Load that fuel before it shakes loose. The Dragon Razor's on the far side of camp.
Do we all have to do this? Am I helping?
See that feline over there?
Yes.
That's where the fuel cells are stored.
Ah, fuel cells.
It takes 2 units of fuel to fire it.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Well,
pin it down with ballista fire.
where am I?
We're almost there, people. Keep the pressure on.
So yeah, menu composition and flow is a big thing. These are like really high, I'd say. I mean, I don't want to say it in a snobby way, but those are the kind of like high level concepts that I would say differentiate a really high-end fine dining restaurant from a normal nice restaurant. You know, if you're doing a preset menu that's focused on like extremely fresh seasonal ingredients and local ingredients and stuff like that. That's the other thing is like,
Get that Dragon Razor loaded and keep your eye on that Elder Dragon.
if you take
Barricade's reached its limit, sir.
if you take equally skilled, what's going on here? Do we have to wait for him to come through the thing?
It's broken through the barricade. Get that Dragon Razor loaded.
Dragon Razor fully loaded, ready to fire.
I'm doing it. Sorry if I wasn't supposed to do that, by the way. I don't know if there's a reason to delay doing that. I'll resume my food tirade in a second.
Fear not. He won't be kept down by a little thing like this. You did a fine job back there.
Yeah. But it's not over yet. Everyone, good work today. Listen up. We managed to repel the Velkhana, but we have no idea if and when it'll strike again.
Get everything ready.
We need to move fast. Its nest is in the depths of the hinterlands.
Need you.
So I say, let's bring the fight to it!
All right, we did it. Shot him with the cannon. So, for anyone who played Iceborne on PS4, how far into the story is this? This feels kind of like a maybe halfway area part, but I'm not really sure.
Here's something, all right.
Kept Celiana safe, everyone in it. Can't thank you enough. You're the man. We know where Velkhana is, has a nest deep within the Reach. I just put out a quest to our top hunters, you included.
Go get him.
Prepare well and proceed with caution, and most important, come home safe. If you don't, I'm liable to get a little crazy here. All right, cool.
It's us or Velkhana. Let's do what we can.
I guess everyone who actually played this on PS4 is gone or asleep. Let's see. I decently far. I know there's probably like I'm sure just like the regular game, there's the post game is like where you spend most of your time. I didn't get any new materials from that quest, did I? I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh, that reminds me.
Going bonkers. Thunderproof mantle, cram some, trap the thunder
it done
jaw.
for me, will ya?
All right. Rip. But yeah, I mean, I could talk about high-end fine dining. I also worked places where it was like way more laid back, but still used. I mean, we were still cooking fine dining level food, but we weren't doing the whole like crazy service thing, and we weren't doing the whole like, you know, serve an entire table at once kind of thing, which is pretty common in most restaurants. You organize your kitchen and call out orders in a way that you deliver all of the table to a food, all the food to a table at once. I've worked in places where it was literally like as soon as a dish is ready, you send it to the table, because they were the food was kind of more designed to be shared by multiple people, so they could try more dishes. Yo, what's up, Clover? Clover knows a lot about food. The Iceborne Wyvern. I'm probably gonna go. I gotta take a. Give me a quick second. I gotta go to the bathroom really quick before I do this quest. Good timing. All right. I could talk about fine dining for a long time. I could just talk about food in general and running restaurants for a long time. I don't always, there's so much to it though that I don't always know what to talk about. And I forget that people actually would be interested in hearing about that, even though I'm playing video games. My brain, the first thing when I'm playing a video game, my brain's first thing to do when it comes to talking to nobody, because I'm just talking at a microphone and a screen, is to talk about what I'm seeing in the game. But then, you know, if I get goaded into it by chat, I can get on the good topics. Anyways, hold on one second, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I guess we're doing this quest. There are
Proceed with caution.
there are a lot of things about running a restaurant, regardless of what type of restaurant it is. Personally, I think the best, like, chef-run restaurant, if you're a good chef and you're running your whole restaurant, or you're a part owner or whatever, first off, you have to be able, a good chef should be able to cook and execute all their own dishes better, or as well as, I mean, as they want them served, right? I've seen a lot of chefs who have been like a head chef for a long time, and they just do the office job stuff, and every once in a while come up with a dish and they like couldn't actually cook on the line, or like show, you know, people what they actually wanted, and they kind of like lose their edge and their actual cooking skills. So I mean, being able to, I know that sounds dumb to say, you would expect the chef of any restaurant should be able to cook well and cook all their dishes well, but that's really not always the case. Have I seen the Key Step Pro? You sent me the video and I saw a little bit of it, but that was like right around when I was starting the Secret Santa thing, so I actually didn't watch the whole thing. Is it? I'll have to check it out. See, here's a good chef. This is what I'm talking about. You gotta be like Cat Grandma. I think one of the other things that gets overlooked a lot when it comes to restaurants and food, and especially if you're not like in the industry, say you just go and eat at restaurants and stuff like that, you might not fully know or understand this, but like if you were to take two chefs of about like the same equal technical level, the chef who has the better ingredients is always gonna be considered, you know, the better chef and the better cook. Ingredients are far more important than skill is. Like actually by a significant, skill is obviously important because if you don't have the skill, you'll ruin your ingredients, right? But if you were to take two world-class chefs and give one of them like, you know, fresh local seasonal produce and then give the other one fucking shit from the, you know, shit from Save-On or whatever the fuck your local shitty, the Stop and Shop or the Price Chopper, like even if you were a worse cook, the one who had the better ingredients is 9 times out of 10 gonna be the considered, you know, better from a diner's perspective, right? Which is one of the things is depending on what type of restaurant you're doing, sometimes that's more difficult or less difficult to actually execute. Because you can be a fantastic chef, but if you open like the wrong type of restaurant in the wrong kind of place and you aren't taking advantage of the best available foodstuffs in your area, then, you know, you're not gonna, you might be able to succeed, but you're not gonna do as well as you potentially could, right? And it's hard to find a balance sometimes between, you know, cost, convenience, quality, location can be very important depending on what you're trying to do. Like if I were to invest my money right now into a restaurant, my own restaurant, whether it was, oh fuck, I don't have the gem equipped. Where's my hot drink? If I were to open a restaurant with my own money at this point right now, as I love fine dining and I love fine dining kitchens and I love the atmosphere, I love the food, I love everything about it, but I probably wouldn't open a fine dining restaurant where I am because, number one, it's a competitive market. And number two, the demand, at least in my immediate area, the demand is mixed. And I'll be totally honest, in the area where I live, a lot of people don't know shit about food. And some of the quote unquote fine dining restaurants in my area that are relatively do okay are kind of not very good in my opinion, for a number of reasons. And yeah, I could open a fine dining restaurant and compete with them and have to deal with like lower volume and, you know, finding my customer base where I'm not sure if one fully exists. But if it were me opening a restaurant, I'd probably do something much simpler that would be higher volume, that would be easier to find staff for. That's the other thing with fine dining. Sometimes finding a good staff is extremely difficult. Finding a staff that can execute your menu, you know, for the amount that you are able to pay them, and especially for the cost of living in the area that you're in. I'd open a place that did like breakfast and lunch and mainly did like egg dishes and really, really nice sandwiches. Probably nothing on the menu more expensive than $20, because I wouldn't want to alienate customers, nothing too stuffy. And I'd open something like that just because I feel like, at least in my area, that would be very profitable. And then if that were a success, I'd take money from that and, you know, take the risk at fine dining. I wouldn't fine dining has far more risk than anything like fast casual or more laid back casual dining. And the operating costs and the costs to open are much higher, and just the risk is just there's just so much. I wouldn't want to do that as my first
A new path is open.
venture. You know what I mean? A new path is open. And here's the thing, just because I've worked in fancy restaurants, like, I eat fucking shit food all the time. I had Del Taco today for lunch, and it was great. Del Taco is good. I have no problem with fast food. I mean, I fast food is kind of fascinating to me. Just because of the whole process involved, and the most optimal fast food from a restaurant owner perspective is trying to make it as foolproof and unfuck-upable as possible while still trying to maintain quality and costs. I'll shut up for a second here. I don't know what's with them capture frames. Yo, what's up, Loops? The other thing too is with fine dining, if you're opening it by like a fine dining restaurant just costs so much more to open, and the staff costs are going to be much higher, and you're going to spend way more on, renovating and redecorating
Watch yourself.
both the dining room and the kitchen. And most likely you'd be dealing with other investors too, unless, for some reason you lucked out into a very successful venture and you had a ton of money to start with. You're looking at least, $1 million or more, probably more than $1 million for anything half decent, fine dining wise. I mean, if you went for a smaller restaurant, like if you did a thing where it was like a very small kitchen with like a bar and you have like, I don't know, 20 seats instead of a full-on dining room, full-service dining room, you could potentially open something for a lot cheaper. I mean, in a hypothetical sense, you could say I've opened restaurants before, but I've never opened my own restaurant, start to finish. So there's still factors that I would say I'm not 100% on. And I'd probably have business partners, even if it was something maybe a little bit cheaper. Oof. But it's a lot of money to risk on something that, you never have a guarantee of success with a restaurant. And even a restaurant that is busy, sometimes, I mean, personally, I don't think a restaurant that I would be running would have this issue, but you can have a restaurant that's busy and is not successful because of, on the business end, you're not making money because either your costs are not balanced properly with your prices, or your labor's out of whack, or you spent too much on remodeling, or you have high waste. There's a number of things that you could be busy all the time and still not be making enough money. Yeah, the first at least year, usually 2 years, you're technically you're bringing in money, but you're not making a profit because you're recovering the cost of all the shit you spent money on to open the restaurant, right? That takes a while to recover that. Ooh. Uh-oh. What does having business partners mean in the food field? It depends. I mean, you can have people that are owners of a restaurant where literally the only thing they did is they wrote a check to help pay the initial bills, and they have some level of say in, you know, how the restaurant is run or what it looks like or what the menu is. You know, you can have people where it's basically just like, you know, a venture capital for a tech business, where all they're doing is they're putting money in and they're saying execute your idea. Oh fuck. Execute your idea, and then, you know, they get a certain percentage split of either revenue or profits, depending on, you know, how your agreement is worked out with them. You know, if you're the sole owner of a restaurant, a lot of times, like, that means you aren't paying yourself a salary. Instead, you're reinvesting that money back into the business. Or you're giving yourself a very minimal salary just to cover bills and pay taxes. And, you know, the value is in the restaurant itself and reinvesting that money into the restaurant. It's not that different from any other business. I mean, that's kind of, I'm saying that, but, you know, that's assuming you have experience in running a business. Which, you know, there are a lot of factors to running a business. A lot of little details. And with a restaurant, it's like compounded even more because of all the factors that, you know, go into a restaurant. The difference between front of house and back of house. You know, managing your chefs, managing your waiters, managing your customer experience, stuff like that. So, you know, if you're doing it, that's the thing, is like, to an extent, at least when I was working in restaurants, I was not doing it for the money. I was doing it because I was passionate about it. Because, to be totally honest, even in most high-end restaurants, the pay is not that fantastic and the hours are very long, and you are on your feet in a hot kitchen all the time. So it's not like, being a chef isn't a good way to get rich. Like, if you have enough experience, you can land a job that has fairly decent hours and you get paid salary, so you don't have to worry about as much hourly. But, like, you know, the way, if you're gonna become quote unquote rich as a chef, that means that you're opening your own restaurant and you own it, and you own multiple restaurants and you own all of them, or you're a celebrity chef and you have a TV show or some shit like that, you know. Granted, in the food industry, this is specifically talking about restaurants, but the food industry is big, right? It encompasses things like agriculture, food manufacturing, like, you know, commercial food product manufacturing, fast food, you know, corporate restaurants, corporate catering, like, I'm mostly speaking to what I have experience with, which is the fine dining stuff. I've never worked in fast food, even though it's very interesting to me. I've been in several fast food kitchens before. I know how they operate, and, you know, how they execute their service and stuff like that. But again, if I'm going into business, I'm not like extremely wealthy or anything. So my first choice would always be, what can I do that's safe, that can secure me, you know, a small, you know, a starting a base, like a profit to begin with, that if it fails, I won't be like completely broke and have to sell my house kind of thing. But if it's successful, that it'll be enough to either open another one of the same concept if it does well enough and there's demand for it, or, you know, open up something that's a little bit more ambitious and risky. I mean, I'm sure I'll get there at some point. I don't know. Very recently, I've been really, really missing working in a kitchen, and I've talked about it a little bit before on stream, but I stopped working in kitchens like probably 2 or 3 years. That's like 3 years ago now. and mainly it was to focus on getting a food science degree. And I'm at a point where right now, like health-wise, I genuinely, because I have arthritis and some other problems, I genuinely don't feel like I can do the thing where I'm like standing 10 hours a day in a hot kitchen again. Like I just I feel like I'd be like killing myself if I did that, you know. And I wouldn't be making as much money as, you know, I potentially can make now also, which is another factor of it. But yeah, recently I've just been really missing it. I've been watching, like I mentioned, the Gordon Ramsay documentary stuff, and I'm just like, fuck, I wish I was making fancy food right now. And that's another reason why I was thinking of the food streaming stuff, but I don't know, it would be so hard for me to do that at home. If I had a restaurant that I could just go into and stream from the restaurant, that would be really fucking cool. I wish I had thought about streaming on Twitch when I was still working in restaurants, because I think that could have been really popular like 5 years ago. I mean, it could be popular now, but I'm not in a restaurant where I can do that, right? Restaurant Wi-Fi, oh, you can, I mean, restaurants have, you still have a modem. You could do a hardwired connection if you needed to. I don't know. I still kind of keep in touch with some of my friends who are chefs who still do stuff. One of my mods, Atax, who pops in every once in a while, is a he's actually a chef for like multiple restaurants now. And he's a cool guy. We've worked together before. But yeah, I guess that's the thing why I got into food and why I stuck with it, is like it gets me in this place where I can't really think about anything else. I think that's kind of what like passion is supposed to be when you're passionate about something. It's like whether you're at work or you're at home, you're thinking about it and you enjoy it, and just like the idea of it, you know. There are very few other things that I'd say I'm passionate about enough to the point where like I could just talk forever about it, right? I mean, I'd end up repeating myself at some point, but yeah, if I ever do open my own restaurant, it'll have its own Twitch stream. Passionate about cheese chips. I feel you on the cheese chips. You know, there's a fish taco place near me that does cheese shells for if you're keto, as a keto-friendly thing, a low-carb option. They just like grill cheese on the griddle and make like a taco shell out of it. And it's fucking delicious. Open up a pizza joint. Actually, with one of the places I was working at, there was a period in time where after a certain number of years, I was going to be, they wanted to open a pizza restaurant, and I was going to be the one who was going to be in charge of it, and I was going to go to Italy to study. I actually did study a lot about pizza ahead of time. It was going to be in Neapolitan style, though. Yo, Lenny, thanks for the raid. What's up? We're just talking about food and monsters. To me, if you're gonna do pizza and you're gonna do it right, you gotta do Neapolitan brick oven style pizza, where it's wood fired, and basically you're cooking your pizza from like raw to finished in 30 seconds. It's like less than a minute because the oven's fucking 900 degrees. That's the kind of pizza where it's like thin crust and it's a little like crispy, burny looking. You don't want it to actually burn too much, but yeah, wood-fired Neapolitan style is where it's at. I mean, I like all types of pizza. Did that work? Yeah, you rated me. I don't have any notifications or anything for it. It just shows up in Twitch chat. wood fire cooking on its own is really cool. Just the physics behind a brick oven and doing wood fire cooking, whether it's a wood fire grill or a wood fire oven, is very cool stuff. I'd say that's another thing. That's a whole nother as a chef. Ooh, no, 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 no. Uh-oh. See, I moved. Me smart. I need to sharpen though. Can we do that, please? Wood-fired cooking is like a whole nother skill set that you have to learn as a chef. Because the way you handle temperature control, I mean, a wood-fired oven is like a whole nother ball game, but just like cooking over a wood-fired grill is completely different than cooking on gas. Just because you don't, your temperature control is done in a very different manner. You don't have as much control. Shit. And I died. That's what happens when you talk about pizza too much. I don't even know why I fucking bought that. I should have just used a, what's it called? A max potion? Is that what I want? Oh, I don't have ancient seeds, do I? Please nobody else die so we don't have to redo this. Stop being the weakest link. Well, I am the streamer, so I'm expected to be the weakest link, right? So you worked on a pizza project. It was actually really good. You'll have to find a store. Was it like a pizza dough? I'm guessing, knowing your line of work, it was probably a dough thing. Or was it a frozen pizza? Because that would be interesting too. Finished product. Interesting. Yeah, pizza is one of those things. Everyone has their preferences. I mean, I'll never turn. There's very few times I've had straight up bad pizza. I mean, like New York style. Oh yeah, I should probably go help instead of mining. You know, New York pizza's cool. Fuck. Hot drink. Chicago pizza's fucking weird as shit. They got like. Chicago pizza is like fucking literal pies. Don't fuck pies. It's technically sort of pizza. I mean, it's all the same ingredients as pizza, just done in a really weird way. 864p, I explained it last stream. I'm streaming in 864p because I'm mostly sure that playing in 1440p source scales down to 864p better than 900p or I mean, even 720p. I wanted to increase the resolution of my stream, but I also didn't want it to look like ass. Tacos or pizzas? No, they aren't. A corn tortilla is very different than a pizza dough and or crust. Ooh. Oh, there goes my stamina. I was not paying attention. Fuck. Is it bad? I don't mind deep dish pizzas. I think they're fine. As long as your dough isn't too bready. I like a bready dough as long as it's like focaccia kind of bready. But if it's like dense, doughy bready, I'm not as much of a fan. That's not what a pizza should be. Again, I'm partial to the Neapolitan, like cook it in a hot, ripping hot 900 degree brick oven in 30 seconds. That's true. We will lose the mission if I die again. Yeah, I want pizza now too after fucking talking about that. I don't mind shitty pizza that much either. I haven't gotten it very often. I think the last time I did was, I think I ordered Pizza Hut on the night of the Game Awards. And I got these really fucking weird, like, Cheez-It, like, they were like Cheez-It, I wouldn't call them calzones. They were fucking disgusting. They were terrible. I did get a normal pizza too, but Pizza Hut actually, out of all the shitty pizza places, is probably my favorite. I like it a lot more than Papa John's. I know a lot of people are fans of Papa John's, but what we have here, crystal shard. Pizza would be cool though. There are actually 2 or 3, like, I'd consider them fine dining pizza places near where I live. One of them is owned by Mario Batali, the guy who was on Iron Chef America. Yeah, like a nice fancy pizza is like, oh my gosh. Boy, this guy sure has some cool attacks, huh? Ow. Ow. Uh-oh. Alright. I have to be a little bit more careful. And really, I should be aiming my Kinsect lower. So that the health clouds are a little bit lower to help everyone out. That's the other thing about talking about food on stream. Yeah, ultimate double-edged sword. There's some people who, like, legitimately will get angry when you talk about food. I don't know how hungry people were until I mentioned pizza, though. When I was just talking about, like, fancy restaurant shit, I don't think as many people were like, oh god, I gotta go out and spend $200 on a meal now. This is an Elder Dragon, right? So I'm guessing we can't capture them. Live in a strong tourism area just north of Italy. Oh yeah, I mean, Italy is like, has some fucking amazing pizza places. Just north of Italy? Isn't Switzerland just north of Italy? Or am I dumb? I've been to Italy. I've been to northern Italy. I've been to Switzerland too. That's why I'm thinking of that. And I'm... Austria. Okay, I've never been to Austria. Man, it was a long ass time ago, but speaking of Italy, in northern Italy, I went to Lake Como. Holy fuck, was that a fucking nice place. Yeah, nobody die. We got this. Do I have any more energy drinks? Nope. Yeah, the Alps are fucking legit. Wee. Oh, it's time to get out the bombs. Y'all want to throw down some bombs there or what? You guys got any? Fuck it. Oops. There we go. Listen to Calm playing his fucking bagpipes. Oh, I can't get out of this! Oh, this is gonna suck, isn't it? Come on. I would say to an extent having 2 insect blade users for this isn't that bad, considering how much this dude fucking likes to go up in the air. Ooh. Yeah, don't stand right in front of the mouth. Bad idea. Calm, don't die. How the fuck are you supposed to avoid that if you can't go in the air like I can? He just swept the entire fucking thing with his breath. Bad place to land. The jump dodge has enough iframes. Yeah, that sucks. That seems hard to do. Well, maybe not hard to do. Holy shit, thank God for that wide range. Yeah, I gotta shut up about pizza and fucking whatever the hell I was talking about. Talk about lasagna now? I don't have much to say about lasagna except it's fucking great. Don't I have one of these things? Oh, thank God. For a second I thought I like... That sound made me think I died.
We'll fight tooth and nail to prove it.
Talk about salami. Salami's fucking good. I love charcuterie. Oh, I could cheese and charcuterie. Anything having to do with fermenting food. That's something else I could talk about for a long time. One of the restaurants I worked at, I used to make like charcuterie and stuff like that for our menu. Good job, everybody. Thank you. We did it. Oh, yeah. Is my stream choppy right now? Or is that just OBS looking like shit? No! It's OBS. Yeah, thanks for healing at the end, because we would have potentially die. Oh, that's true. It's far. Getting on a plane sucks. I like traveling to other places, but I don't like the part where you have to go to the airport and get on. I mean, it would be worth it. I know.
Formed by magma.
Don't sad face.
By using these shards, it's able to control the cold.
Then when they weather and fall off, it simply replaces them.
Oh man, that's cool. Interesting.
Remarkable indeed.
Oh, wow. You must be excited to see your grandfather now.
Yeah. It's just...
Isn't a meat eclair just like a hot dog, pretty much?
There was something
Or
else
like
you
a
wanted me to
Wellington?
know.
I guess a Wellington's a little bigger
He'll
than
let
a
you know.
meat eclair.
Right. And I'm going to tell him everything. Partner! For everything you've done for me, thank you so much. I mean you. And then... What I mean is...
Greetings.
Back, huh?
Nice. Things have calmed down.
I've
around
definitely had something that was like a pastry that had a force meat filling. I'm just trying to think of what it would be called.
here. Thanks to the fit. And so, the Legiana resumed their normal routine, and thus we were able to
You
avoid
wouldn't put...
complete disaster.
Well, a meat cream... You wouldn't... It's not meat cream.
However,
It's called a
I have some troublesome news.
a homogeneous
I'd like to share
force
that
meat
discovery.
or a
But before that,
We've discovered unnatural fault lines all over this place. Tons of them. This all points to frequent seismic action throughout the area.
like what a hot dog is.
Seismic action.
Right.
A frankfurter.
However, We haven't been able to figure out how this connects to Velkhana.
That, and we don't know what's causing those songs. Wait a sec.
It appears that everything is connected. The Legiana's behavior and the rejuvenated Velkhana are a simple byproduct of this phenomenon. If we don't put a stop to this, the ecosystem irregularities will continue.
Okay, then. What's the cause?
The old Everworm.
Something's happening! Watch out!
Emulsion sausage was the term I was thinking of, not homogeneous force meat. I mean, they're technically the same thing. Emulsion force meat.
What the heck is that?
We did a cortex, large bone, lash, bone, hard claw, crystal shard, conqueror's seal. Ooh, 2 gems. Let's see what they is. Are these both steadfast? I mean, I already have a bunch of steadfast. There's no way to combine jewels to make one stronger one, right? Because that would be cool. Because I already have like 3 of these, I think. I have 2 equipped right now. Or no, I have 3 equipped, I think. And then speed sharpening. Yeah, that went well. It's close.
Before we get started, let me just say one thing. The way everyone came together to overcome Velkhana, it made me proud to be a part of this team. That said, our work's not done. Report.
Sorry, I cut off the shirtless man.
I've been conducting an inquiry into the source of the mysterious song reported by the 5th Fleet.
And I've been doing my own separate investigation into the geological phenomenon we're now calling seismic actions. Together, we've realized that the most profound traces of seismic actions happen to be everywhere that the song's been heard.
That monster ass making them seismic actions.
They can't possibly be caused by the same thing, can they?
The old Everworm. Of course, those might just turn out to be silly words written on a piece of old cloth. But I think whoever wrote them must have had their reasons.
At any rate, we need to find more locations linking the song and the seismic actions. The 2 of us alone cannot cover enough ground.
I agree. We should look into the link between these 2 phenomena. Now, what would you have us do?
I think the 4th Fleet Hunter should lend a hand with investigating this.
It's okay. You can go to bed now because even though this is kind of a short stream, I think I'm gonna be stopping here because my friend is coming over. So,
And as for the 5th, I think it'd be best for them to focus their sights on monster behavior in each region. Just like with the Legiana, it wouldn't surprise me if other monsters have started getting rowdy too.
Rowdy Legiana.
True. That old Everworm may have stirred up some of the more rambunctious customers here in the New World.
I agree with the Chief's plan. If we follow that, then we've all got our parts to play.
And we'd better play those parts well, or else by the time we discover the truth behind this old Everworm, it may already be too late.
Okay, let's get to it.
This old worm. Can't teach an old worm new tricks.
Let's get to the bottom of this mystery. We're in charge of the Elder's Recess.
I'm just gonna pop over here real quick. What's up, house cat? I got some stuff. Let me send my cats out real quick. We'll use, who the fuck is Seaman? Oh, that's Calm. We'll use Calm. Calm's cats are the most expensive ones, so. We'll send them to their death. Yeah, Spoon, thank you very much for your help, and Comrade and Nefarious. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's, I think, it for now. Saving data. Oh man, speaking of data, fucking Picard is in like less than a week now. Yeah, thanks everyone who came and hung out. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. I know a lot of good streamers be streaming these hours, so that's pretty much all I got. I appreciate you, and I enjoy video games, and we can do more food talk another time. I want to do some food-centric streams. I just don't know what to do other than, you know, like cooking or watching shit on YouTube that has to do with cooking. I'll figure it out. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to play a song. Kind of random, I guess, because I don't listen to him that much, but there was a new Mac Miller album that came out. He died a couple of years ago, unfortunately. And I guess he had already recorded most of this album and it just needed to be finished. But it's very good. It's a very interesting album, I think, and I enjoyed it. So I'll play a song from that. And I'll see who's live, and I'll possibly raid someone. So you could stick around and listen to the song if you want, or you can fuck off. I don't care. Who's streaming right now? Desert. I'll probably raid Desert. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Next time I stream, it's either gonna be, I have no idea what it's gonna be. It's either gonna be like Tome or something. I don't know. His family does, actually. His estate is all connected to his family. Anyways, peace out. This song's called Good News. And good news, everybody. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.